Welcome to Zoe Stories, the diamond heist that turned me into a woman. The group of thieves, known for their precision and ability to pull off high-risk, high-reward jobs, had made a name for themselves in the criminal underworld. Vincent, their leader, was always one step ahead, plotting heists that others wouldn't dare attempt. This time, his eyes were set on a priceless diamond necklace set to be auctioned off at an exclusive high society gala. The necklace, known as the Heart of Orion, was valued in the tens of millions and had a security detail to match. Planning for the heist was meticulous. Every angle was covered, from the guards' patrol patterns to the security cameras' blind spots. However, one part of the plan had Vincent stumped. To get close enough to the necklace, one of the crew had to infiltrate the gala itself. This required someone who could blend in, someone who wouldn't draw suspicion, and most importantly, someone who could pass as an invited guest. None of them fit the bill, at least not at first. "We need a woman," Vincent muttered during one of their planning meetings, eyeing the group of men sitting around the table. "Someone who can blend in with the elites, someone who can move around without drawing attention. The necklace will be displayed during the dinner. Our best chance to grab it will be then." Silence followed. None of the thieves, hardened by years of experience, dared to speak up. They were used to breaking into vaults, hacking security systems, or sneaking into buildings under the cover of night, not mingling with high society types in ball gowns and heels. After a tense pause, Vincent's eyes landed on Nate, their tech expert. Nate was slight, with delicate features and an almost boyish appearance. Unlike the rest of the crew, he didn't have the bulky build that screamed criminal muscle. A light bulb seemed to go off in Vincent's head. "Nate, you're going to be our woman." Nate blinked, looking around the room to see if Vincent was serious. The other members exchanged smirks, but no one objected. Nate was the smallest, the least intimidating, and, as Vincent pointed out, the only one who could feasibly pass as a woman. "You're kidding, right?" Nate asked, his voice tinged with disbelief. "I'm dead serious," Vincent replied. "Look, with the right dress, makeup, and wig, you could pull it off. You have the build for it, and no one would suspect a thing. Plus, you'll have access to all the tech. You can stay in touch with us while you're inside." Nate hesitated. He was great with computers, the best hacker in the business, but this, pretending to be a woman, it was so far outside his comfort zone that he didn't even know where to begin. But he also knew that if they pulled this off, the reward would be life-changing. "All right," Nate sighed, feeling the weight of everyone's expectations on him. "I'll do it." The transformation began almost immediately. Vincent called in a favor from an old associate, Rami, a retired con artist who had spent years perfecting disguises, especially as a woman. Rami, a former drag queen, agreed to take Nate under his wing, though he was initially skeptical of the challenge. Rami looked Nate up and down during their first meeting, raising an eyebrow. "We've got our work cut out for us," he muttered. "But with the right look, I can make you a knockout." The next few weeks were intense. Nate's life became a whirlwind of lessons in femininity. Remy drilled him on everything from walking in high heels to speaking with a softer, more refined tone. At first, it was humiliating. Nate tripped over his heels constantly. His voice cracked when he tried to speak in a higher pitch, and he was clumsy with makeup. "You need to move with grace," Remy would bark, forcing Nate to walk back and forth across the room in stilettos, and stop slouching. "Confidence is key. You're supposed to be a woman who belongs at this gala, not someone sneaking in." As the days passed, something shifted in Nate. The more he practiced, the more natural it began to feel. His movements grew smoother, and he started to understand the rhythm of the heels, the delicate flick of eyeliner, and the importance of posture. Every day, he spent hours in front of the mirror, transforming himself into Natalie, the identity they had crafted for the gala. She was elegant, mysterious, and confident, all the things Nate had never been in his own life. By the time they had completed his look, Nate couldn't recognize himself in the mirror. Dressed in a shimmering emerald gown, his makeup flawless, and his wig of cascading dark curls styled to perfection, Natalie stared back at him. He looked every bit the part of a glamorous woman, ready to mingle with the rich and powerful. But there was something more, something that unsettled him. He didn't just look the part, he felt it. "I told you," Remy said with a grin, watching as Nate twirled in the mirror. "You're a natural." Nate smiled, but inside, he felt a strange mix of excitement and confusion. The line between Nate and Natalie was starting to blur. At first, he thought it was just the thrill of pulling off the disguise, but as the gala approached, he began to feel more connected to Natalie than he ever imagined. Was this just a role, or was there something deeper? The night of the gala arrived, and Nate's nerves were electric. The team gathered for their final briefing before heading to the event. Vincent handed him a small earpiece that would keep him in contact with the rest of the crew, who would be monitoring the heist from outside. "Remember," Vincent said, "you're in control. Stay close to the necklace, keep an eye on the security, and let us know the moment we can make our move." Nate nodded, slipping the earpiece into place. As he stepped out of the car and approached the grand ballroom, the weight of the moment hit him. This was the point of no return. Walking into the gala, he felt eyes on him, but not in the way he feared. People glanced at him, Natalie, but only with admiration. He fit right in, every inch the glamorous guest, and as he mingled with the elite, he felt a strange sense of empowerment. This wasn't like being Nate, the tech guy who hid behind a screen. This was something else, something thrilling. As the evening wore on, Nate played his part perfectly. He chatted with art dealers, politicians, and socialites, all while keeping a discreet eye on the security surrounding the necklace. His earpiece crackled occasionally with updates from Vincent, but otherwise, he was left to navigate this new world as Natalie. That's when he met Julian. Julian was a wealthy art dealer with a sharp wit and a captivating presence. He approached Natalie with a charming smile, clearly intrigued by her beauty and grace. Flustered, Nate tried to keep up the act, but something about Julian's attention threw him off balance. They talked for longer than he intended, their conversation flowing easily. Nate felt a spark of something unexpected, an attraction that he hadn't prepared for. It wasn't just Julian's looks, it was the way he made Natalie feel seen. As the night progressed, Julian grew more persistent, inviting Natalie to join him for a private drink. Nate knew he should decline and focus on the job, but part of him wanted to say yes. It wasn't just the thrill of the heist anymore, it was the feeling of being desired, of being someone completely different. Before he could respond, Vincent's voice crackled in his ear. "It's time. Security's about to switch shifts. Go now." Nate excused himself from Julian, heart pounding. The moment had come. He navigated his way to the restricted area where the necklace was kept, using the charm and confidence he had gained as Natalie to sweet-talk the guard. It worked flawlessly. He gained access, and within moments, the team executed their plan. The diamond necklace was theirs. But as Nate slipped out of the restricted area, something gnawed at him. The heist had been a success, but Natalie had become more than just a disguise. As he exited the gala and returned to the van, Nate's heart was heavy with the realization that Natalie wasn't just a role he had played. She was a part of him he could no longer ignore. In the days that followed, the crew celebrated their success, dividing up the spoils and planning their next move. But Nate was distant, lost in thought. He found himself staring at the emerald gown hanging in his closet, his mind swirling with confusion. Who was he now? Was he still Nate, or had Natalie unlocked something deeper within him? One evening, unable to shake the feeling, Nate took out the makeup, the wig, and the dress again. He stood before the mirror, slowly transforming himself back into Natalie. As he gazed at his reflection, a strange sense of peace washed over him. This was who he was, both Nate and Natalie. It didn't have to be one or the other. The heist had changed more than just his bank account. It had changed his understanding of himself, and as he stood there, dressed as Natalie, he realized that this new identity was as real as anything he had ever known. Thank you for joining us on another captivating journey through Zoe's stories. Remember to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss a tale. Until next time, keep exploring, keep imagining, and keep believing in the magic of storytelling. See you in the next chapter.